One of the ways that folks are using Lens when managing river corridors is to understand hydrologic trends and how often things like flood events are happening on their areas of interest. And so in this particular property down in Tennessee, with these two images that are captured just one day apart, and again, these are high resolution images that we can purchase directly through Lens, we're able to see that this is actually capturing a flood that happened on this particular day in January. And the next day, most of those floodwaters have subsided, but they've left behind quite a bit of mud on those floodplains here. And so one of the questions that our customers are often asking is, how often are these areas flooding? And when they do flood, what does a wetted width look like? And other questions they might have about trends. And so with our analysis tool, I can open that up and select this particular part of the property that has the remnants of this flooding. And with this tool, I can understand how often this area is saturated like it was during that flood event. And so if I just click that Analyze button here, and I'll just enlarge this graph a little bit, this is telling us a story going back about 10 years or so, that in the late summer months, this river is nearly dry. Looks like there's hardly any surface moisture in this entire area by the end of the summer most years. But it looks like in the late winter months, early spring, that's when this area really tends to have more moisture. And then we're also seeing these outlier points that we're seeing here as these dots. And if I click on one of these dots here, like from this past spring, it's actually going to show me a flood event. And so these outlier points are actually showing us how often in the past 10 years or so, this area has flooded. And so this is really helpful for not only gauging, the frequency of these events, but also the size of an event like we're seeing here. So we can see here that this is actually about 440 feet across. Or if we were to go a couple days later, we could see what this property looks like even after the flood event to see where that moisture has been retained in the soil. And we can also use that area measure tool to measure the area of saturated soil in these areas. So whether you want to look at individual data points like we are right now, or understand these trends across time, Lens is really helpful for not only making these observations, but keeping track of them here in your notes pane, which makes it really easy for your agency or organization to keep track of these observations.